Hey, you guys. Welcome to Rev Draws. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a little late. Bear with me, okay? Your girl was having some problems this Your girl was having some problems this morning, but don't worry. I'll wait for you guys to I'll give you guys a few minutes for you guys to check in. I'll be right with you guys, okay? Bear with me. All right. All right, let's start this. All right. Let's start with today's story. All right. Let's start. Well, welcome to Rev Draws. I'm Rev Alvaradia, and this is where I stream my art and share my story times with Twitch and YouTube. For those on YouTube, hi YouTube. Well, YouTube bots, hi YouTube. Now I will say this. Now some of these stories will start off with a good beginning, and sometimes with a bad ending, but also sometimes with a little bit of a twist. But find out on your own as soon as I tell you. But not many people know this, but the webtoon Where Love Began and A Journey Within is actually based off of my real life experiences when I was a college student. And yes, Kaoru is little old me. But for legal purposes, I'll use my webtoon characters' names because, see, the thing is, they're based off of real people, but if you want to follow my art journey, all my socials will be linked below. All right, let's get into this story. My first story is like it says the title, How Kaoru Met Rumiko Vestia. Now let me tell you about the shenaniganery let me tell you about the shenaniganery that Kaoru that Kaoru did to meet Rumiko. Now, I have to start from the beginning. Let me set the stage. 2012, fresh out of high school. Kaoru had to wait a few months for some paperwork to go through, and as soon as it did, she went off to a small college called Kutztown University. And for those who ever looked it up and seen it, I'm gonna let you know right now, it literally is a small college. Almost like middle of nowhere. I'm gonna be rude. Today I'm not trying to swear. But it's called Kutztown University in little small Kutztown, Pennsylvania. Now when she arrived at the college, all she kept on seeing is white people and a few different minorities. Now mind you, Kaoru's not racist. But she saw one black person, and then come to find out that black person was, a recruiter for the Black Student Union. Kaoru went up to her and said, "Where's us?" What? She's like, "Where is?" Said, "Man, where is us?" And she said, "Oh, don't worry, I can lead you right to them." So at that moment, Kaoru was like, "Yay! I found my people." So led her to I kid you not, a cookout. A legit cookout. And after the cookout, she signed the papers for the Black Student Union. She had a great time. She met new people. She was like, okay, going to a good start. Now, that same weekend, I kid you not, we went to a party at Temple University. Now, mind you, Temple is another university in South Carolina. It's in Philly to be exact. And that's when this. Now, mind you, this leads up to how I met Rumiko. Now, Rumiko, on the other hand, went to Temple with her toxic ex. Now, as I'm talking about her toxic ex, I want to let you guys know. She's very sweet. She's a very, very sweet person. But but back to the party. The recruiter was like, "Hey, for the sake of confidentiality, we're gonna call her Lana. We're gonna call her Lana." Lana was like, "Hey, Kaoru, this is a friend of mine, childhood friend of mine. Her name is Rumiko." Like, okay, cool, Rumiko. And then Lana said, it's like, okay, remember I just said, she said her name is Rumiko? Well, I need you to help me get Rumiko out of a situation. Now, mind you, I just met this girl that day. Just met her. And I was like, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong with the girl? She took Kaoru to the side and said, well, Rumiko's in an abusive relationship. Well, she was like, oh. are you trying to get her, Kaoru was like, you trying to get her out of it? And Lana was like, hell yeah, I'm trying to get her out of it. So, knowing the person Kaoru is, she's like determined to get this girl out of this relationship. Now, when she met her at the party, Kaoru can already tell that, okay, this is one of my few swear words of the day. He fucked her up. He was fucking her up badly. And there are no words. She was a DV victim, unfortunately. Like, he was really beating her up. She would cover up her scars, like cover up her like her bruises with makeup, but Kaoru could tell that the bruises were healing, but like it was bad. It was really, really bad. And then Rumiko, she said, "Hi, my name is Rumiko Vestia, and I'm a nursing student." Now, mind you, Kaoru's like, "Are you okay?" Because at the time, she looked really uncomfortable. Come to find out, her toxic ex was there. And he was keeping tabs on her the whole time at the party. And like I said, Kaoru, knowing what kind of person she is, she's like, I gotta get her out of this. So Lana said, exactly. So this is what we're about to do. Basically, Lana was doing a whole heist. Okay? This girl, did you not, had her persuade her. Well, it wasn't really persuasion, it was more of a girl, you come with me much as you like it or not kind of situation. The kind of person Lana is, Lana appears again in our misadventures. Give you a heads up. But yes, Lana was like, absolutely not. So we got her out of her situation, but Rumiko was terrified because she was like, what's this man gonna do to me if I leave? I can't leave. Lana, knowing the person she is, she said, yes, the hell you are. You shouldn't be scared like this. And, she's right. You shouldn't be scared like that. To the point that you're afraid to leave. So, as this girl began, let's put it like this. As we got her stuff together, we made her transfer out. Let me be more specific. Lana made her transfer out. So, as she transferred out, it got back to her crazy ex. Well, ex now, at the time boyfriend. Her crazy boyfriend, and before leaving out, she kind of told him, I'm calling it off. He didn't take it very well. So he had his sibling and friend to be a flying monkey. And if you know about narcissism, yeah, you should know. You know about narcissism, yes. No comment. But her friends, well, I said fly monkeys. Well, her quote unquote friends, on the other hand, thought it be thought, we should transfer to Kutztown too. Oh, they wanted to transfer, and they transferred to the same dorm that she did. Like I said, she thought they were her friends. No, they were not friends. They were keeping tabs on her. And at the time, Lana peeped game and said, "You can't hang around them. If you come to school here, you cannot hang around them. That is a no-go. You were only allowed to hang out with Kaoru and me," Lana said. And at the time, she was like, "Yeah, you're right. I should be hanging around new people." And Lana was like, "Exactly. So, with all that to say, we're about to move you into your new place, your new apartment, and you're gonna meet, and you're gonna move in with no problems. But if you do have a problem, it's usually usually gonna be somebody that's problematic." And let's just give you a heads up. There will now in the future stories, you're gonna find out her roommates are very problematic. Well, a few of them. Not all, a few of them. Well, actually, no. But I digress. Back to the story. As all this plays out, Kaoru, Rumiko, Lana, and a few others from the Black Student Union. I forgot she joined the Black Student Union too. All of them have misadventures. Our first week, she moved in. We went to a house party. Now, as we went to this house party, mind you, Kaoru met out. Now, at the time, does not know who Kaoru is. Something crazy almost happened. She almost went into what we all call the orgy room at a college party. Not a college party, at the house party. And at the time, Rumiko was a low-key alcoholic at this time because she was depressed. And because she was depressed, like I said, because she was depressed and scared, she just went to alcohol. At the time, she was just sitting there drinking a whole bunch of alcohol by herself, drinking it to the head, mind you. And Kaoru just walked off on her own. But, like I said, Aoi appeared, grabbed her by her arm, shook his head and said, "No." And then, after that, she did not see him for a while. But Rumiko was like, "Oh my god, what happened to you? You said you were supposed to go to the bathroom. What the hell?" And then, Nora was like, "I did go to the bathroom." She said, "No, the hell you didn't. I just saw you." She said, "I just saw you. You almost went into an orgy room. That's a no-no. That is a no-no. You don't go back there. Some guy is usually guiding you somewhere. You're supposed to say no. We are 90s children." And as they said back in the 90s, stranger danger. She said, "Where is your stranger danger? Does it not exist to you?" And Carla's like, "It does exist." She said, "Bitch, clearly not. What the hell?" Like, what the hell, man? He said, "You know what?" And then, crazy thing that happened, they were shooting over there. Everybody, prior to it, everybody was minding their black business with the occasional mix. And they started, fighting. Well, no, actually, it started with a fight, and then it led to first it was a fight, and then it led to like guns blazing basically. And we, as the black people in there, said, "Oh hell no," and dipped and went to a Waffle House. Now, mind you, we went to Allentown and went to a Waffle House. We ain't have one in Philly. So, all the black people that came with us, which was the Black Student Union, we all went to the Waffle House, talked about the craziness thereof, and then Rumiko start talking about, well, this itch got the nerve to just walk off and tell nobody. Now, mind you, Kaoru almost told her, "I don't want to hear that from you. You were over there drinking like you were over there drinking your problems away." Now, mind you, another thing is this too. If you ever watched the Food Network back in the day, like late 90s, early 2000s, where they used to have the alcohol segments, that's how she was drinking. Like just, pour, 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 sip, 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 pour, 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 sip, 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 and just making all kind of concoctions. Took me back. Well, it took Kaoru back to that time of watching it on the Food Network. And she made that reference. Everybody else laughed like, girl, really say the Food Network? And she said, yes, the Food Network. If you know, you know. And then, the people who know were like, yeah, she's right. They used to do all that crazy stuff back in the day. But, like I said, the people, the Black Student Union were like, yeah, we can't do that. What was that all about? How did that shooting start? And then, somebody who was, a witness said, well, it all started because, it actually just started because somebody wanted such and such a girl. Now, mind you, we know who this person is. It's a pick me girl. And this guy wanted her really badly. And because the girl, oh Lord, she hung out with us in the beginning, but she was a little too problematic for our taste. But basically, this guy wanted her. She was there at the party. She was just she was hyping up the fight basically. And we were like, absolutely not. You're not about to hype up anything that we don't want to deal with. And we were like, no, no ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. You're not hyping up anything that we don't need to be done. And she's like, what do you mean? We were like, what you mean? What do you mean? We are not trying to get shot up because you. No. We cool. We ain't that damn cool now. We're not about to lose our lives because of you. I need you to get your whole life together, ma'am. AKA, in other words, she got to go. And, we never talked to her again, but, she tried to get even. I think it's weird. Honey, why do you want to get even with us? And crazy enough, that same night, that girl had to deal with the girl. Believe it or not, the girl started a fight in a Waffle House. And if you go to Waffle House, you all know how that goes. You see somebody, fighting, and then sometimes if you're it's very unfortunate somebody gets hit with an animate object, and then you got some who are built like I forgot her name. I think we called her Waffle House Wendy. Then you got people like Waffle House Wendy. Cause look, I get it. Heck, at one point I almost worked at that waffle. I was thinking about, you know what? I'm a college student who needs money. So I'm gonna work at a Waffle House. And then, Rumiko and the Black Student Union said, hell no, you are not, no ma'am. We need you in one piece. Said, baby, we need you in one piece. I was like, okay. And Kaoru said, but what about the benefits? They said, F the benefits. We want you alive. They said, we want you alive and well. Because a lot of these people are crazy. I mean, they're not wrong. They were kind of crazy. But I was going to let that deter me. But yes, I did not work at that Waffle House. I just ended up doing my own side hustle at the time. Rumiko actually helped me with. But at the same time, she was trying to, trying to try to assimilate to what was going on. And that's basically it. She tried to assimilate to her new lodging. And Lana saw those girls that she used to hang out with and said, yeah, no ma'am, we're gonna need you to stop hanging around with. She said, I say these things because I love you. I need you to stay away from them because they're no good for you. They don't have she literally told them, them itches don't have your best interests. And I was like, oh Lord, she said all that. She's usually the chill one. Now, mind you, as this all plays out, Rumiko laughs because, Lana is Lana. And we all know that she's doing it out of love and not hate. But Rumiko, she was still friends with them at the time. Keyword at the time. And because she was friends with them at the time, that was actually a bad thing. But I'll explain that more after this whole series of how Kaoru met all her friends. All 7 of her friends. But yeah, that was her biggest regret, keeping those, keeping them hoes as her friends. And yes, I call them hoes for a reason. Because I don't like them. Kaoru didn't like them. I didn't like them. Because I saw them as a problem. And if I see you as a problem, or as this case, Kaoru sees you as a problem, that means you really messed up. You truly messed up. Because there's no way that you are so problematic that Kaoru / I hate you. because I'm a very chill person. Anyone who's ever meet me or knows me, I'm a really cool, chill person. It really takes a lot for me to get angry. But the thing is, they just rubbed me the wrong, and I didn't like. They kind of gave off. They kind of gave off "I'm better than you" vibes. I ain't like that. I ain't like that at all. What we're not gonna do is act like you're better than me. And they thought they were better than me because I came from, South Carolina. They're like, oh, she's a country bumpkin, whatever, da da da. I don't. Ooh, wee. They thought I was, country bumpkin. I was stupid. But joke's on them. I'm smart enough to know when somebody is not your friend and when somebody is trying to, try to keep tabs on you, because I've been around narcissists. I've been around narcissists all my life. So I kind of can peep game when somebody is a flying monkey. So as these flying monkeys were, hanging out, let's be more specific. As they kept on, following us, I call it stalking. They were stalking us basically, trying to find ways to see where she was going and what is she doing. Because the thing is, they wouldn't do that when Lana was around. Because, they were scared of Lana. They were extremely terrified of Lana. And they thought, because, I don't know who they are, that they can, get over on me. Well, Kaoru, in a sense. And that didn't work. They failed miserably. Because Kaoru told them, hey, I need you to stop hanging. Can you guys not stop following us? And then one was like, what do you mean stop following you? Now, Kaoru / me said, I'm not dumb as hell. I'm highly intelligent. And I know when somebody's followed, and I know when people have specific intentions. Not stupid. So, you can A, tell me what you're thinking, or you can B. You can either A, tell me why you're here and bothering her, or you can B, get away from us. Because she and I already told them, leave her alone. And then one of them got an attitude and starts, cursing Kaoru / I out. And you see, that was a problem. You don't talk. You can do a lot of things. Like I said, you can do a lot of things, but don't talk to me crazy. Don't talk to other people crazy. She was calling me all kind of B's, calling me all kind of dumb itches, and then I had to, reevaluate and realize I was about to beat them up. But then I had to realize another thing. I'm at a predominantly white school. And it's bad enough that, black people are already looked down on. So, said, God, please, those girls thought they were, above the law. And I'm like, no, ma'am. Because one of them was, almost white passing. And she told the guard on me, one of the security officers on me. And I looked at her crazy because I'm like, okay, so that's the game we're playing. Okay, sweetie, you're gonna play this game with me. should not have played that game with me. That is a dub. Absolute dub. You played the game with the right one. So, knowing how petty I used to be back in the day, literally, I used to be very petty. I was very vindictive in my 20s. But I've learned that you can't be like that no more. But yes, knowing how I love vindictive, or I like to get even with people. Because I used to get even with people. I got even with them so bad that they didn't bother me. Because they were spreading all kind of lies about me / Kaoru. And they thought it was sweet. So, I looked into them. They ain't like that. They ain't like that at all. So, I did the next best thing. God, I was a horrible person. Well, yes, I did look into them, but hear me out. I did it in such a way that they didn't know it was, Kaoru / I. So, I found out where they stayed on campus. I used my pretty privilege to find out where they were, and guys did stuff for me. And yes, I really did use my pretty privilege. I was that horrible of an individual. And then, and another thing is this too. I made a lot of friends with people. Especially the nerdy girls. And basically, the girls who were like nerdy and no guy, would talk to them. They found dirt on them for me. So, I used that to advantage. And I called them out about it. And they were like, what do you mean? And they tried to play victim. I'm like, no, ma'am. You can't play victim with me. What are you? So, yeah, you can't play victim. So, after they played victim, they said, one of them literally told me, I'm going to tell my brother that you're bullying me on campus. He's going to F me up. And I told her, joke's on you. These hands are E for everyone. I don't care who you have as a brother. He will catch these hands respectively. And she said, you won't be singing that tune after he's done with you. And I said, come with it, come with it. Now, mind you, I should have kept my mouth shut and just, walked away. But like I said, I was a very vindictive person. So I said, come with it still. I still said, come with it. And mind you, he came on campus once. Now, I didn't tell Rumiko he came on campus, but he threatened my life. But joke's on him, he found out who my people are. And I said, he tried to threaten Rumiko / I, not Rumiko, Kaoru / I. And I told them, they said, he's basically almost tried to hit me. But kind of find out, Lana and I are cousins. Because around this time, Lana found out that her grandfather was my grandfather's brother. So, with that to say, we are cousins. Lana's older brother told them, basically, it got back to Lana that guy was bullying Kaoru / me. So, one day, Kaoru / me found out one day that he got jumped. And Kaoru slash me was like, why are you showing me these pictures? And she said, because, girl, we are family. I will slide for my family. I will not allow that man to put his hands on you. Now, this girl says the one word that I never thought would come out her mouth. She said, I've never liked like that dusty A, that dusty A N-word. Now, knowing me slash Kaoru, I tried not to laugh, but deep down in my spirit, it just came out. I really tried not to laugh, but it was so hard. It was really so hard not to laugh at the not his pain, but at what she said. So I said, Kaoru slash I said, I'm glad we came on a common. I'm glad we have a common. I'm glad we feel the same way. Lana said, yeah, because Rumiko's been dating him for years, since high school. And he tricked Rumiko into dating him. He tricked her into dating him. And once she realized what kind of person he was, she tried to run. And when she tried to run, he got really abusive all of a sudden. But the thing is, she said to herself, the thing is, I've already known this. I just didn't know he would come out pray after her like that. So I moved her. Solana said I moved her away. But it seems like the nigga got N-word has flying monkeys. And now that's when Lana said, I need to take care of these flying monkeys. She used the finger quotes, flying monkeys. And I was like, oh no. Kaoru slash me was like, oh no. She's used it. I was like, oh no. She's gonna kill him. She's going to K-word them. And I was like, no. I'm scared for them. Because if they took care of the last one, the ex, her crazy boyfriend, ex at the time, just imagine what they'll do to them. Well, they didn't. Well, that weekend, they didn't, hit them or anything, but they threatened their lives real good. They didn't bother, at the time, they didn't bother Rumiko for a hot minute. They didn't bother her. And, at the time, Kaoru slash I thought, they finally left her alone. Joke's on Kaoru. They wouldn't leave her alone even if she tried. Even if she tried to run. They kept on. The thing is, now mind you, Rumiko is a nursing student. And she even said it herself, once she gets out of, when she graduates, she wants to be she said it herself, she wants to be a pharmacist or a registered nurse or something along those lines. Another thing, she already has medical knowledge because her mom is a doctor. So, as I tell these stories, Rumiko's gonna come to clutch. and just end up, healing folks. But back to the story. So Rumiko, they what it is that basically they looked up the classes you have to take to be a nursing student. And at the time, she was a second year, she was a sophomore. And they literally looked up. I think it's weird that they literally looked up everything that a sophomore has to do to be a student. Basically, look up everything. They basically looked up they basically looked up, like I said, they looked up the credentials for it and what GPA she had to have. So, and from there they used to just say we're hanging out, but they would always try to hang out with us during lunch, during breakfast. Basically, they would try to hang out with us at the caf during brunch, during breakfast, and then they come to the other cafeteria on the other side of campus where all the classes are, where the classes are. And then at night they come back over for dinner calf. And I still was saying get away from it was so bad. It was almost like I was a broken record. It was like I was a broken record. And I got tired of it. Lana definitely got tired of it. So this crazy woman did the next best thing. She literally said, I kid you not, leave us alone. Well, the thing is, she said this when Rumiko left to go to the bathroom. She said, hey, I need you to leave us alone. Specifically, Rumiko. And then they said, what do you mean? And Lana said, don't play innocent. I know what you're doing. I know what you're planning. And I know that you're only here because your brother asked you to come here and go to school here. So you can fool someone else. You cannot fool me. And then the girls said, we were friends with her before you were. And Lana was like, yeah, that may be true, but you're trying to trap her, trying to bring her back to him. He broke up with him. He's just mad that she moved on in her life. And because she moved on in her life, he just didn't take it very well. Basically, he didn't take it very well. That's basically it. He didn't take it very well. But who cares? Who cares? Like, you're a horrible person who wanted to take advantage of someone just because you felt like it. Oh, that just rubbed me the wrong way. Basically saying, well, Well, whatever do you mean? We haven't done things like we haven't done anything wrong. And Lana was like, yes, you have. Yes, you have. So I would love for you to get away from Rumiko or else. And then the girls, let's put it like this, they left her alone for a little bit. But I already knew, you know, they were just lying low. But as the time went past, Rumiko slowly started to smile again. But yeah, she slowly started to smile again. It took, it took Kaoru / I a hot minute to have that girl laugh again. And believe it or not, she stopped drinking at the time. She stopped drinking, kind of find out homegirl can cook, cooks like a southern auntie. She was making cakes. She was making collard greens. She was making oxtail, macaroni and cheese, dirty rice, like flounder, catfish, spaghetti, all kind of stuff. And all this happened because she smiled again. Because Lana told Kaoru / I that she can cook. It's just that when she's down, she doesn't like to cook. She's like depressed. So Kaoru / my eyes, I'm like, you little, how dare you do this? She cooks. You know what? How dare he? The horror. Because this girl can cook, and this man just made it worse. I was like, dare you? Dare you do this to her? But it is what it is. It's out of my control. But it's like whatever. Like, basically, it's like whatever. But you know, like I said, it is what it is. I can't, as I always tell people, and I always tell myself, if it's out of my control, I'm not gonna. Basically, if it's out of my control, I can't stop it. Like, I just, and I just leave it up. I just leave it up to I just leave it up to God and say, hey, if it's out of my control, I just leave it alone. I don't press anything. I've learned not to dwell on things that are out of my control. Because for the longest time, I would always try to. For the longest, I would always try to play this person who likes helping people. But you can't save yourself if nobody else will save you. And that was a habit of mine I had to break expeditiously. In which, like I said, I did. I broke that habit. Learned to mind my black business when something isn't right. But I still, to this very day, I feel like I should have told her that that what they were doing. It still kind of messes with me, but at the same time, it's for the best. Well, I think in my eyes, it was for the best that I didn't tell her that those girls were doing that to her, were plotting. Because I didn't need her to be all stressed out again. I didn't want to see her like that. I ain't want to see her like that. She, like, like I said, I had her happy. Girl was relaxed. She was minding her business. She was actually just happy all around. And I was like, I'm not about to make her unhappy. Because they don't know how to control themselves. Like I said, I'm gonna let it happen. But after that, we basically went out and about. Basically, that Friday, we went out. We went to New Jersey, specifically Atlantic City. We went to Atlantic City that night. I think we went to a wet. At the time, I think we went to some type of bar there, and we had a great time. We went out drinking. We went out basically went out drinking. We had a great time. We didn't have to worry about any violence. We didn't have to worry about anybody getting hit. We just were just chilling and drinking and eating great food. We didn't have basically we were just living our life. We weren't hit on. None of that. None of it. Hit on or anything. It was amazing. We didn't get hit on. It was so refreshing. Until we left, and then until we left, it was like we were like, come on now, we were having a great night. I don't like saying this, but I have to say it's always an ugly man with a lot of confidence. I don't know where they get it from. It's beyond me. They had so much confidence, and then as soon as Lana shut them down, they start calling her all kind of uglies, and then they start calling us an extension uglies, and we were like, what did we do? What did we do? It is not our fault that Lana called you ugly. That is a personal problem. Take that up with. Just rub this the wrong way. Like, we didn't do anything wrong. We just chilling with Lana. And Lana just had a tendency of telling men to kick rocks. Had a little bit of a tendency of telling men to kick rocks. Those men didn't like when she said that. So I was like, come on now, man. Leave us alone. Like, leave us alone. Why are you messing with us? I gotta change. Come on now. Come on. Like, what? Why? It's like, why? It's always the ugly one. Got so much confidence. Where is this confidence coming from? It was like a group. It was like an it was almost like if you know what a whole bunch I think it's what a whole bunch of crows no not crows are a bunch of I think it's unkindness of crows or some kindness of raven. One of them. They were just ugly. It was like, oh god. It was bad. They were just they were just ugly. And I don't know how to explain it in the nicest way. Who knows? Who knows what they look like? They were just ugly, man. And they had the most confidence. But then again, for me to this very day, I have that problem with men to this very day where they're like that. They got so much confidence. I don't know where it comes from. I really need to know, like, where is this confidence coming from? Men and women. If you know, you know. It's ooh, ugh. Ooh, just like, ooh, yeah. Make that make sense. Mm-mm. But other than we were hit on, we also got a ride back. Thing is, we got a ride back with one of the RAs who actually worked at that place that we were at. Believe it or not. Now the RA, he'll come into another story that's gonna happen. The RA, he's very fun. He's actually crazy enough. He's dating Lana. At the time, he and Lana were dating, and he worked. Basically, he worked as a RA on our floor. Actually, mind you, as he was an RA on our floor. Oh no, actually, it's just Kaoru/I's floor, not the second floor. Not that. But as he was an RA, he had to deal with a lot of craziness. AKA, he was dealing with people like her, like Rumiko's new roommates. I don't like using saying things like God bless. I literally had to tell her God bless. Because they got on my nerves. And like I said before in the beginning, it takes a lot to get on my nerves. What get on my nerves. And I was like, no ma'am. No ma'am. Get out my face. Like it was that bad. I had to tell her, get out my face. And, another thing is this too, they were snitching on us all the time. Saying we're doing all this conduct, but you know what? For now, we're gonna call Lana's boyfriend Ethan. Now, once we got back, Ethan had to deal with her annoying. I repeat, annoying roommates. They were just finding all kind of stuff wrong. Like Now, prior to this, he was never getting any complaints from them. They didn't start getting complaints until Rumiko moved in. They were openly racist, and they try to act like they weren't. Let's all be for real. They were being very racist. Now, mind you, at the time, I don't know if someone was dating one of them at the time, but all I know is this: that girl was extremely overprotective when it came down to Tomoe. Because I don't know if they were dating or she liked him and he just tolerated her existence. Who knows? But at the time, their eyes met. Which I saw that and I was like, oh man. And me as Kaoru, something in me sensed that those two will get along very well. And that one day they may end up together. But that was just a premonition. Who knows? They may have ended up together. And I'll never know if I see them again or get in contact with them again. But I have a feeling that they're together. But at the same time, they had a few adversities. But what romance is there without a little adversity? You know? So, like I said, I think they got together. And if they did, that's one of my, believe it or not, this sounds horrible to say, but out of all my friends, I like to ship them. Yes, it sounds crazy, but I like to ship my friends. Some of them would be cute couples. We just need them to get together. We just need them to get it together. And once they get it together, we'll be fine. Get it together, girl. Get it together. But I'll go into their story a little later in this series. But basically, they did what they were supposed to do. Basically, they met, their eyes met, but Rumiko shook her head and turned around. He turned his head and acted like nothing happened, but we all know he liked that. He liked what he saw. Said he liked what he saw. But after that, basically, Rumiko basically put her stuff down and collapsed on her bed and literally said, I'm going to sleep. And Kaoru was like, girl, you're going to sleep right now? And and Rumiko said, yes, I am. Now, mind you, girl has long, flowing, natural hair. And another thing is this too. She don't like doing it. So basically, when she got into her room, she took her hair out of her ponytail and let it roam wild. Now, Kaoru slash I was like, hey, why don't you like doing your hair? And then she said, well, I don't like, she said, because it's a lot. And then, Kaoru slash I said, then why don't you just, cut it short? She said, I would love to, but she said, I never cut my hair ever in my life. I've always had long hair, so I'll keep it this way. And then also, Kaoru gave her the option, why don't you lock up? She said, heck no. So she never locked it up. So for now, she's permanently has long, pretty hair. Long, pretty hair. Pretty black hair. And it's literally all the way down to her butt. So, every chance she gets, she puts it in a high ponytail and says, screw it. That's how I'm doing my hair from now on. Kaoru slash I is like, come on now, girl. But Kaoru slash I let her sleep. Because after all the madness, she needs it. Homegirl needs a nap. She just needs a nap. She just needs to sleep off all the stuff she had going on. This just needed a long nap. And after that, Kaoru said, yeah, I need a nap too. So Kaoru went back to her room and fell asleep. But as she slept, something didn't sit well with her. Not the fact that it wasn't about Rumiko, it was about Howie. And why is she always running into him? And what is the meaning of that? Of her running into him? In her eyes, she was like, is it a blessing? What is it? And as she took her nap, she kept on seeing Allie in her dreams. And she was like, I don't like this. What? Why am I keep seeing it? All she kept on saying. She was like, I don't know who this guy is. He seems like he gets on my nerves. But he does end up getting on her nerves. But it is what it is, right? Life is life. So, as this plays out, Kaoru fell asleep. He had a dream about that moron. And yes, Kaoru slash I can call him one because we know him enough. He gets on our nerves. He really does. But he's an A. He's a horrible individual, but he's a horrible individual with a heart of gold. Oh, it gets. But at the end of the day, that's what makes him him. Unfortunately. Fortunately, that's what makes him him. Him. Make But we've come to terms with that. A rich man with his own demons. But as this comes to a close, as you know, as I'm almost finished with this thing. Well, actually, no, I need to just finish her up. But as I say all this, she also had a dream that she met new people. That Rumiko just won't be her friend, others as well. But she hasn't met them just yet. As I said, she met 7 people. The car is like, okay, where are all these other people I'm supposed to meet? Like, what's going on? Hey, who are these people? Hey, I need to know. Yeah, you know. Like I said, yeah. And yes. But yes. Uh, but I will say this. If anybody else has any crazy stories like this, you can put it in the comment section if you like. But but let's put it like this. After put it like this, but after she woke up, Rumiko basically said Rumiko basically texted her saying, hey, you wanna go down to the cafe? And Kaoru was like, yeah, let's go to the cafe. Say, yay! So she took her happy self down to the cafe. Now, I forgot to mention this. Rumiko is a sucker cake. And you heard me, she is a sucker for cake. So once she found out that they had cake, specifically a cheesecake, a Reese's cheesecake, mind you, girl was like, time to eat, it's eaten. Now, I don't know why Kaoru/I said this, But we literally said, girl, you can't eat all that cake like that. You gotta watch out. You gotta be concerned about your health. Cause in my 20s, I didn't really care about what I ate, but now I do. Cause lose that metabolism at any moment. But basically, we had we I'll just say we ate like I ate a piece, she ate a piece. Now she waited to everybody else. No, don't do me like this. But basically, she but yeah, basically she was like, he said, I'm feeling lucky today. So this girl ate more cake. And after she ate all that cake, and then she finally, got the stomach ache that I was looking forward that she was gonna have. She was like, I ate too much. And then, I said, geez, you think? He said, leave me alone. Let's just go back to our rooms and just relax. Kaoru / I said I agree. So as we went our separate ways, Kaoru out of procrastination, did her homework. Did everything she was supposed to do. But as before, she had a premonition. But this time, it was about Allie. She didn't know it was about Allie at the time. But it was about the next person she meets, Allie. Something was troubling her. And she didn't understand what was troubling this girl. All she knew was that, she was troubled by something. She didn't know what was troubling her. So, she didn't press the issue. And she didn't press the issue. And I'm glad she didn't. Just very thankful she didn't press the issue, that's all. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But yeah, you know, I really thought that, things would go well. But it still kept on troubling me that he was having problems. As I said, I had a strong tendency back in the day to wonder why people my people while she was having those problems. Now, mind you, should have mind my black business, but like I said, I'm gonna find out what's wrong with them and see how I can make them feel better. Should have minded my black business. Should have minded my black business. It's I don't like came out. I'm sorry, I'm quiet, you guys. I'm just, thinking about what kind of design can I put with this? What kind of design can I put with this? Not knowing the kind of person I am, I'm like, okay, what kind of color can I give her? Trying to give her fall type of feel. But I'm like, I wanted to give the man a type of feel, but I'm like, no. Absolutely not. Or you know what? It may not give off the colors that I want, but it'll work today, god darn it. Alright, I'm quiet. But knowing me, probably gonna have to finish this on tomorrow. But let me finish her first. Right? No. Actually, you know what? I'm in good spirits today. I'm gonna finish this whole thing out. But first things first. First things first. I'll be right back. I'm back. And you know what? I have the power. I can look at it as long as I can do this as long as I want. But you know, I thought I was gonna stop it. No. And yes, I am working on this stuff. And yes, I do not have my glasses on. And yes, the struggle is real over here. I do not have my glasses on. Yeah, I'm gonna be quiet for a bit because I need to get these the way I want it. And if you're wondering, if you ever look at my artwork, my old artwork, you'll why it looks so realistic because I put detail into my work whenever I do it. Always put detail into my work because I used to be a painter. Mm-mm. All right. I'm done with it. Well, the name of this piece is Train to Cordelia. So, my name is Red Barbaretti, and this is Red Draws. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, hi there. How are you guys doing? Don't worry, you guys. I was looking at my. Don't worry, I was looking at my chat. Bear with me. I am blind. Well, bye, you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. And this time on Friday, I will be on time at 10 o'clock. Okay? All right, see ya.